Alright, hello everyone. Today I want to talk about certain tips for the upcoming Tokyo 1600 meters. This is a little bit of some extracurricular thinking that you might have to do here. So if you don't care about it, you don't really have to watch this video. Alright, but for those of you who are wondering, I'll be mostly talking about what uniques to go and buy for the backliners, and also about how to tell what is the most efficient way to go and pay SP for. Alright, so let us talk about one thing here that's going to be very relevant for the upcoming meta is going to be that end closers are very strong. Front runners are also going to be able to gap the end closers, right, in terms of making a huge distance, and that the end closers have two possible really good uniques that I did not mention in the video, right? One thing to talk about here is really just that Nishino Flower is actually quite a viable unique for the upcoming Champions Meet. The thing about Nishino Flower is that depending on the lobby for Mao, alright, you can get to the 4th position if it's very backliner oriented, right? You've all seen the late surger spam lobbies before, right? So it's possible for these characters to win here, and this Budding Blossom is possible for them to hit number 4, especially if they are late surgers or even end closers in a very end closer dominated CM. Right? But of course it's a mouse CM, so there could also be 1 million frontrunners, and then you are locked, so you will not be able to get this unique over here. So that's another thing to worry about. And then the other unique that was recommended to a lot of end closer players is the King Halo Cheerleader. The King Halo Cheerleader will only activate in the 6th, 7th or 8th position, and that could also be messed up by lobby. By having a crazy amount of end closers, it is a little bit random whether you'll be too strong and then you go all the way in front and then you don't get Trace and Cheer, or you're too weak that you're in 9th, that you don't get Trace and Cheer, or that you're just right, then you're in for Trace and Cheer, but you might get blocked also if you're just right also. So it might be a bit complicated here for the louder Trace and Cheer. It's really dependent on lobby and dependent on the horse for whether you want to buy this or buy that, or even buy all. I've seen some people buy all the uniques here, and I want to tell you why I don't think that's a very, very good idea. But besides that, the King Halo Cheerleader and Nishino Flower, the logic I want to give you guys here is that if your horse is very strong in the mid leg, you should try to get Nishino Flower. And if your horse is very weak in the mid leg, you may want to pick up King Halo Cheerleader instead. Right? Horses that I'll be using for example here is the classic Ghost Ship. Everyone knows her. Good old generic 6 seconds 0.25 speed mid-leg horse that is still used until this day because she's just so goddamn generic and has a great aptitude for any single make a new track scenario. Right? This horse is super generic, and her mid-leg is very good because everyone knows Anchors Away makes her run all the way to the front for fun. Right? So with this horse, do you think you'll get number 6? If you make your Ghost Ship extremely weak, maybe, but if your Ghost Ship has at least, Mr. CB's card, has at least some decent speed cards, good speed, decent end closer corners, like maybe Mile corners, maybe Tail Held High, Uma Stand, like I don't think your Ghost Ship is going to end up in the cheerleader range. So with that in mind, it's probably better to lean towards Nishino Flower. Right? What if there's 2 Ghost Ships? What if there's 3 Ghost Ships? Right? Oh shit, then there's 3 Ghost Ships going in front, then it's maybe a chance also for the cheerleader to actually trigger, but Nishino Flower is more likely if your Ghost Ship is stronger than the other guys. So if you're feeling very strong, like, oh, my Ghost Ship is demon, right, then Nishino Flower might be the correct play here for a lot of you, right? Next one to talk about is also relevant for the meta is Taishin. Taishin is absolutely demonically strong. She probably doesn't even need the unique to win, just because Encroaching Shadow is 0.4 XL. So as long as she gets something, anything really, she will just win the game. Hell, Nemesis Speed carry over plus this wins her the game alone, right? So she doesn't really need another unique or anything like that. But if it's Taishin, she actually has mid-leg for this CM. Right? Nemesis is actually a mid-leg for this Champions Meet, and it activates from the 4th to 7th position. So that means that Taishin is very unlikely to stay all the way at the back, because Nemesis is going to speed carry over and rocket launcher to the front, and this only activates in the 4th to 7th position anyway, so you're going to be aiming to stack mid-leg on her anyway. Right? So narrator Taishin does not really want to lean towards Cheerleader King Halo, but more leans towards Nishino Flower. Correct? So that's how you can kind of see how certain horses are more built for certain positions. What about Oguri Cap, for example? What if I want to make Oguri end closer MooMooCows? It's a viable horse. It has a finishing speed skill. It's very good, right? But the only thing it has is a finishing speed skill. It only has a 0.45 speed skill. It does not have any mid-leg skills inside of its natural kit, right? So Oguri is not really able to compete with horses who have mid-leg. It's like saying, can Ines Fujin win a fight with S. Maru and V. Bourbon? Most likely not, because Ines Fujin only has her finishing speed skill, but she has no mid-leg speed skills like S-Maru and V-Bourbon, who can just activate a mid-leg to go really fast for 5 seconds, right? So that's one advantage that they have, and so Oguri is a little bit on the back foot here. It's more likely that ghost ships will run in front of her and Taishins will run in front of her, forcing her back, making her able to get cheerleader, right? So that is why you can lean more towards cheerleader King Halo if you are weaker in the mid leg. Alright, of course you can always shove a crazy amount of mid leg in the horse and make them very strong. That's always possible, right? But that's also a lot of effort, and most likely a lot of you will not be going to that extent, right? So it's more probable that people who are watching my videos and are just chill guys, right, you basically kind of want to use the King Halo cheerleader, right? What about the other unique that you might want to go and pick up? I recommended Brian, and I still stand by it, because Brian is just a very, very generic speed skill with potential speed carryover, which is very, very powerful and definitely a very good skill in terms of value. If it's discounted, even better. If it's a grandfather unique, then you have a +1 extra unique from this, is also even better. So if you can grandfather narrator Brian, it will be very, very good as well. Other options is, of course, your Majura Ryan. But Majura Ryan, again, we all know it suffers from the hit 6 or lose situation, right? If you hit number 6, you can win the game, and if you do not hit number 6, you are absolutely out of the game, right? But of course, if you hit, you just win, right? That's the difference, right? Cheerleader King Halo is also a number 6 activation and also 0.2 acceleration, right? So King Halo Cheerleader is also very, very good. But again, it will also suffer from the shit, I'm too strong, I went to 5th, oh, I'm in trouble now. Alright, that is the problem with King Halo Cheerleader as well. Okay, so you have to just keep in mind what are your horse's strengths, because I cannot cover every horse. Some of your Oshis, like maybe they have finishing speed skills like Saturno Diamond, then they need to go and basically aim towards maybe a King Halo angle, and then you make 2 other end closers who are very strong, and they go in front. Or you make late surges who are very strong, and they stay in front. So that they allow Satono to hit to the 0.2, and then she overtakes them, and then she runs it down, finishing speed skill, boom, wins the game from there. Right? That's a possible way for Satono Diamond to actually try and fight for a victory here. Right? So that's pretty much the logics I wanted to explain here. Next, I want to address, should I buy all of them? That is another thing that I heard some people buy, and then I was like, whoa, that's a bit expensive. Alright, so the thing is, if you go to the Mooma calculator over here, which is done by Sank, he has a very nice length/SP ratio over here, which you can filter by, and you can see the value of certain skills over the value of other skills. We all know front runners require Anglian scheming, so the system values it as this level. So it's, if you filter by this, it will say you should definitely buy this skill over here. Nimble Navigator is always overvalued because you never know if it will trigger, and if you discount it, you can actually see how much more value it is, right? In terms of a unique being more valuable than certain skills, it's generally not the case, especially if you look at stuff like Mile Corners. This is a 0.004, but it's normally discounted, and that literally rockets it up to like this level already. If you discount it more, it will go up again. Discount it more, it will go up again. This is the power of cheap skills, right? It is just incredible value, and so the system will tell you that, hey, you should definitely buy this over even taking the lead, for example. Of course, that's not true. You should buy both of them, right? But this is just an example, right? There are plenty of uniques below this skill, like Flashy Landing, that got crapped just because this skill is already higher value than it, right? Even if I minus it by like 2 more, it's already higher value than Flashy Landing, for example. So, in general, double circling skills, especially the cheaper ones, is always the better play than buying another unique. The uniques are great, but they are also usually very expensive. Some of them are core, some of them are optional, right? So that is the decisions that you have to make here. Using this Mooma later here to do this calculation is very, very helpful, and you can thank Sank for that, right? It's a very, very good tool to just help those who really don't know what to buy, right? To at least figure out a little bit of, hey, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy this, right? So that's pretty much the entire video. I just wanted to give you guys some additional tips for those who really wanted to go and min-max, because I also saw some questions in the recent live streams where people ask, hey, should I get Nishino, should I get Cheerleader or whatnot, right? I didn't leave Nishino in for the actual tier list because this one's about a bit of a nuanced subject, where your character might be a bit more suited towards being in the back, or your character might be a bit more suited to being very strong, and maybe you're very weak, so you're more likely to be in the back because your cards are weak or your time is limited, so you can't really make a super strong ace, for example. Right, so there's a lot of different factors. This one you might have to think about it a little bit by yourself. Right, so yeah, that's it. Any other further questions, feel free to join the Discord. The Discord has plenty of competent people who are able to guide you. You can also DM me through Ko-fi or you can go through the Twitch or YouTube live streams, and I'll try my best to answer your questions as well. Right, so that's it guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Good luck with the training for the Champions Meet. Bye bye.